Hi, it's Susie from Pink Diamond Guide. How is everybody? Back to do an energy update because we are just about to move into one of the biggest energy shifts of this year. We're heading into our lunar eclipse, the blood moon in Taurus. And why it's so dramatic, there's a bunch of cosmic influences playing out, but it's conjunct with Uranus, which is essentially a very transformative, radical change, the ability to really move, shift, grow, how this energy is playing out this year. It's set to really rattle people's cages yet again. Now, this energy would bring words like it's enlightening, it's liberating, and some people can even say it's shocking. But the idea is when these eclipses come around, is you want to be voluntarily letting go of anything that is toxic or anything that's not working in your life, anything that needs to be released, versus having the universe make those corrections for you and just have things ripped away unceremoniously. So this is a perfect time for us to be getting into meditative states and looking at what it is that we need to be cleaning up, clearing up, moving on, getting sorted out in our lives before this eclipse energy really moves forward. Now, the other thing about this, with it being in Taurus, it does kind of ask questions about our stability with our finances and how we move through the earth with our destiny, where we're heading, all of those kinds of things. And we still do have that Scorpio energy with the South Node playing out in being in our deeper energies of what we want to release. So it is a veritable mixing pot of energies coming up. And I'm actually excited for this shift in energy because I have been wading through such difficult energies for the past little bit, and I'm really ready for this shift to occur and see what comes next. So let's do a bit of a reading around what this lunar eclipse, what we can expect under the energies of this lunar eclipse. First, I'll read from the perspective of Divine Feminine, then we'll have a look at Divine Masculine and some Divine Love Oracle and see how we can pull it all together. Let's have a look. Okay, first one out is the Four of Pentacles. Then we've got they're not kidding, are they, Spirit? Then we've got the Ten of Wands. We've got the Strength card in the soul space. Let's make a little bit more room there so we can lay them all out. And we've got the Strength card. We've got the Hanged Man in the challenge space. We've got the, look at this as the advice from Spirit. And we've got the likely outcome. It's an interesting likely outcome, that Five of Cups. Let's have a bit of a deep dive. We've got the Sun, we've got the Four of Cups, we've got the Knight of Wands, the Seven of Swords, the Temperance card, and the Knight of Cups. Righto, let's look into these energies. Now, we're looking for enlightening, liberating, shocking. It can be intimidating energy, but it's essentially we want it to see some level of transformative energy, right? We want to see things that feel like a sudden turnaround, things that we've got to release, things that we've got to let go of. And look what comes out, the Seven of Swords. So things that, anything that we're lying to ourselves about, it is far easier to be letting them go voluntarily than to have them ripped away by the universe, right? This is the energy that I'm really understanding. And look at this Seven of Swords. What are we lying to ourselves about? Where is our deception? Where are we getting where are our perceptions out of balance? And look at this. We've got the Knight of Cups here, my lovely Mr. Valentine's Day. So, that is such a poetic energy. It has, it's hard on your sleeve stuff, and it's wanting to bring that energy into balance with the Temperance card there. So look, if he's holding the cups, the Knight of Cups, he's got one cup there, and the Temperance card is wanting to pour into that cup. They want to pour into that cup in a balanced way, a fair give and take, a fair exchange. It's wanting to love and to be loved. It's wanting to give and take in a fair and even exchange. Where is this coming unstuck, Divine Feminine? Where are we not giving and taking in a balanced way? And this is not to just look at our Divine Masculine and go, well, they're over there not talking to me. we've got to play this in on ourselves as well. If we're out of alignment with our union, then we have to be going, well, clearly there's something in my energy that needs to be worked on. It's never just that person won't talk to you. There'll be a block in your energy that needs to be resolved. And the way this energy comes through is there's something that we're, are we deceiving ourselves in this scenario? Are we deceiving our, the level of balance that we're actually into? Are we holding on to a mistruth or a lie or something toxic? Are we deceiving ourselves on some level? Because the universe wants to give us what we want, wants to give us this beautiful, loving cup. The Knight of Cups, he's so lovely, Mr. Valentine's Day. He gives and receives in equal measure, and it's hard on your sleeve stuff. And this wants to be issued in a very, very balanced way. So where does the lie come in over the top of this very sincere energy? Let's have a look at the next level. Okay, Knight of Wands, Four of Cups, and the Sun. Gee, these are crackerjack. And this is actually a really complex read already, the way that these scenarios are playing out. Because essentially, the Knight of Wands is like a divine spark, right? It can be flirty energy. It can be, I've got a great idea energy. There's something that I want to shift and change and grow because essentially I do want to be happy. But in between time, is going, I've got to really discern what that is. It's the energy that we see in between eclipses, because we had the eclipse earlier on, just gone past the partial solar eclipse, and then the couple of weeks window that we sit in till we go now into the blood moon lunar eclipse, actually should have been a time where we use the energies of ferment, distill, and crystallize to move into what it is that actually makes us happy, so that we're embodying that energy to truly know who we are, what we want, and where we're going. So there's a lot of destiny energy that rolls into that space. So we would be being fed a divine spark, but are we hiding? Are we lying? Are we deceiving? Where is there some level where it's not a truth? So here the Spirit says, I'm going to keep feeding you a divine spark. Now you're either going to go through the process here where you figure out what you need to let go voluntarily to stand in the sun, or don't make me take it away from you in a manner that feels like having things ripped away, which is where we move into this next round. This is a complex round. I'm not surprised at the complex way that these energies are falling. Here, the universe is asking us to be, it's a gathering of resources, but sometimes this card comes into me as a healthy selfish. So it's like really looking into you. And like I said, in this window between eclipses, it is a real time to ferment, distill, and crystallize who you are and where you're headed. What are you letting go of? And to be able to make those kinds of decisions, you really need to know what resources are at your disposal. So if these are all the things that are in my energy field, what do I actually want to bring in towards me? What do I want to keep? What do I want to grow? What do I want to foster? And because we do have that Taurus energy connected to this eclipse as well, it will start to go, how do all my skills, abilities, and talents sum up to be able to put me in not only the direction of my dreams, but we're talking that when we say our dreams, we're talking about our desires as well, things I desire for my life. And here you're being asked to let go of the burden. So what is this over here? What is this burden? Are you even accepting that there is a burden? Because this is a veneer of mistruth. And going, are you truly laying down the burden? Are you truly going to let go of the things that hurt you? Do not make me take this away from you by force. If this is, honestly, if this is, it's a parent, and they're looking at, their teenage children have come home and they've got tins of alcohol in their hand, and you just know that those tins of alcohol, they do not serve that child. And you're standing there looking at them going, either you put it down and take it away, or I take it away from you by force. That's quite literally the universe looking at us going, you have something toxic in your life. I'm commanding you. The headmaster's back in the room, remember, with Saturn going direct. I'm asking of you to voluntarily lay down that toxic behavior. Don't make me take it off you by force. It won't be as pretty. It won't be as much fun. It will not be as pleasant on any given level. We don't want to have that feeling of having the apple cart taken, from underneath it. We want to voluntarily let go what's toxic versus the universe course correct in a way that doesn't feel strong. Now, what does that take to be able to do that? It takes a whole lot of inner strength, doesn't it? You don't need inner strength in your soul if there's not fear. And I said this, like an eclipse energy can be horribly intimidating, and it can be transformative. And because it's conjunct with Uranus and that the energy that plays out with it, and it's currently in a retrograde, which is pushing these ideas of internal rebellion and dramatic change anyway. Put on top of that this big eclipse cycle, and you've got the potential for intimidating, transformative, enlightening, liberating, shocking levels of change. It could well be one of the biggest energy shifts we experience this year. And we've been through a few, right? Divine Feminine. We've been through a few already. So here in the soul space, you might even be feeling this already. You might even be feeling something is brewing, something is moving, something is growing, and it can produce a fear or anxious response. Maybe you already know what this burden is that you have to lay down, what you have to let go of in order to evolve through this cycle. And the likely outcome is it could be distressing, it could be shocking. Sometimes you have to let go of things that do cause a grief response or a sadness response, but you still need to go through the process, and you'd rather do it voluntarily versus the universe having to rip it away or put you into a scenario where you feel like the transformation is more aggressive than it needs to be. So strength in the soul space would make a lot of sense at this point in time. If there's a bit of fear and anxiety building around this very intimidating energy, you need strength to be able to stand up and face it. Okay, in the challenge position, we have the Hangman. Interesting, right? So the challenge is actually getting into a place of surrender, because the Hangman puts himself in this position. He can reach up at any time, untie himself, and walk away. He's there voluntarily, right? That word again, voluntarily. He puts himself in this space voluntarily. So this is getting very, very real with the universe and figuring out what's not serving you. What is it that you have to let go of? What is it that has to be taken away from your scenario to enable you to move forward? And to put yourself into the energy of the Hangman is a place of surrender, and that's not easy. What does it take? Inner strength. So where the universe is asking for a place of surrender to enact change. Right, here, the advice from the universe. Look at this, 4 of Wands. Do you see our 1111 energy? Now we are approaching the 1111 portal. So how I'm taking this showing up in this card here, 4 of Wands can mean a bucket load of things, but what I'm really feel that this is about today is we are approaching that 1111 portal, which is a beautiful time. If we've cleaned up our energy under the eclipse and we've really settled into where we're headed moving forward, let go of what we've needed to let go of, and then the portal comes in, you can use that portal energy to really magnify what you want the next chapter to look like. Light up those DNA codes and bring in more information around what your journey looks like, your soul ascension journey looks like. This card does relate heavily to twin flames and the ideals of union. So holding your twin flame connection in a heart-shaped box, even if it needs to be up on a shelf for now, the beautiful connection will help to serve. And under that 1111 portal, you'll be feeling the intensity of your connection even more intently. But the likely outcome is it will produce some heavy feelings. The likely outcome of this eclipse energy, look at this. Here's our, imagine that in a heart-shaped box. There's our 2 of Cups there, our connection being held safe and sound. But look at these 2 characters. they're really working through some big emotions. Hey, big emotions are feeling separate. These can be emotions of grief, loss, sadness. It's a big outcome under this eclipse energy. Let's look how it's going to affect divine masculine. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a look how this transforms. You know, it can transform these connections, and it might be in ways that just go, you know, is that, it can happen out of the blue. That Uranus conjunction with this eclipse could just produce the most radical transformation in people. It will be the biggest shift of this year. Let's have a look. Divine masculine, how is it playing out for you? Let's make ourselves a bit more room here. Ooh. Our major arcana goes flying across the table. Right, let's have a look. Divine masculine, what have we got? 6 cards, let's go. Yeah, push for a new start there. Oh, look, out in the cold, yep. What have we got in the soul space? The King of Wands. What have we got in the challenge? The 6 of Swords. The advice is the 9 of Pentacles. And the likely outcome, yeah, is some dedicated healing. What have we got on the bottom 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Righto. It's interesting how, like, I don't really feel like there's a mad progression here for the divine masculine, which is, you know, it's divine feminine's energy reads way more complex under this particular scenario, because look here, we've got the Knight of Pentacles, and that's just a bit of Groundhog Day. So really, the shifts that have been happening for the divine masculine continue. Like, I feel like the divine masculine's had like a big year anyway, in the way that it's shifted and changed and grown. And this idea of an Ace of Wands, of wanting, you know, when we're looking at how this shift will affect them, it goes from Groundhog Day. There's an introduction of Wands energy, which is a fiery energy, an igniting of passions. But look what it does. It pushes them into the hermit space. So back into some more contemplative energy. It's not an external expression really at this stage. And here, look, even this with the 9 of Swords still being an introspective or a dream space. But here's where we start to take action. So I suppose it is complex in as much as it's contradictory, where we've got, energies that want to push you. They're push and pull. Let's call it what it is. They're push and pull energies, because these energies are action oriented, or wanting to push forward, wanting to make moves out in the, oh no, I didn't, did I? I saved them. Maybe I shouldn't set them up there like that. So they are very push-pull energies, right? In as much as some of them are very introspective, some of them are very extroverted in wanting to push forward and explore and express what's going on. To really get to the bottom of it is to feel those polarity swings and go, if we're talking about something feeling like it's intimidating and transformative, you do swing out on those polarities. You swing on the polarity of going, oh, I really don't want to shift. I really don't want to grow. I really don't want to learn. Just let me sit in my hermit cave and not talk to anybody about anything. Versus, could it be any more extroverted than the Knight of Swords? So essentially, in this time of introversion and worry and process that he's going through, the likely outcome is it makes him unable to sit on what he knows, to sit on what he's learned. And he really wants to charge forward and express just how much love he holds in his heart, that has essentially remained suppressed and doing damage. So it is complex, and where initially I said it didn't read as complex, but now that I dive into it, I go, wow, it is actually quite challenging energy. Where do I want to go with that? Like, there's this action orientation is going, it's literally like I can't hold back. And maybe that's why I'm feeling it as feeling less contradictory than where the divine feminine is sitting in having challenges of letting go and surrender, which feel like a very, you know, there's a lot of heavy processes around that, and that some level of lying, some level of deception in the soul space, like, whereas this is like, I can't hold back anymore. It's like it's an overwhelming energy to want to rush forward and express themselves. And that push, like I said, it's enlightening. It's enlightening. There we go. There's the Hermit. Yeah, right. It's enlightening with the Ace of Wands and the Hermit. So that's enlightening in a private way. Um, it's shocking and it keeps me worried at night. It's got me worried. But then we move into is liberating. And I want to charge forward and have my say. I want to say what I need to say. I cannot hold back anymore what I hold in these energies. I really want to express my truth. Gee, it's getting more complex as we go, isn't it? All right, the push from the universe is to make a fresh new start, right? And the divine, I often speak about the Ace of Pentacles, particularly when it comes in on the push from the universe, is the divine offering the task of mission as a twin flame. And the task of mission is to get on a soul ascension journey. So the only job of a twin flame, it's not here for romance, fluff, and nonsense. They're here to learn, grow, shift, adjust, and anchor the new archetype. Here, the push is on for understanding what that mission is. At the moment, they're literally feeling out in the cold, right? And isn't that interesting when you look at what's going on here? I feel out in the cold, and because of that feeling, the next push on me is to not hold back my truth. And here, the King of Wands in the soul space says, I want to go after what I want and I will take action. This is masculine energy, is very action oriented energy. It doesn't hold back. It goes after what the truth is in the soul space. I'm actually going to draw some more cards on that soul space. I'm getting more and more intrigued on what's going on with divine masculine. So I'm going to take some from the feminine card. What is it that you want, divine masculine? What do you want? What are you going to go after? Why do you feel so lonely? Why do you feel so left out? Why do you feel so out in the cold? Why do you not know this space better? Let's have a look. King of Wands, what does he want? Oh my gosh, yeah, look, Five of Pentacles. See that? He is feeling so left out in the cold, so disconnected, so worried, sleepless nights, so repeating energies there, and he wants to graduate out of it. Ugh. Come on, divine masculine, you've got this. What's his challenge? Is to actually move away from troubled waters, to pack up his bongos, get in his boat, and actually make the trip forward into calmer waters, calmer days, where he actually gets to live the truth of who he is, live what's in his soul. Look at all these swords of truth about who you are and where you're meant to, where you're offered to be in the world, because free will can talk us out of our blessings. But moving into those calmer waters is the challenge. You can want it all day long, but if you don't take action, you get nothing. Look at this, advice from advice from Spirit. The Nine of Pentacles is about, she is pre-empress, right? She just about has it all. She just about has it all. She lives comfortably. She has luxury. She has just about everything that she wants, but she's on her own. And you talk with these two cards together, and that's a feeling. It's going, it doesn't matter if I can provide for myself. It doesn't matter if luxuries come my way. I still feel alone. There's still a level of disconnection, even if there's a level of going, life's okay, life's luxurious, life sustains me, right? I'm still on my own. I'm solo. I'm independent. And the likely outcome is, and this is great under these energies, the likely outcome is to truly spend some time in that process, which we saw over here. That we've got the Hermit and the Four of Swords. If we this is a deeper layer of energy, but how do you get to that deeper layer of energy? It's an internal process. You have to go to the energy within. And again, their energy is, what are you voluntarily going to let go of versus having something ripped away from you? Under one of the biggest energy shifts of 2022, what is it that you're going to let go of? And moving into knowing that 1111 portal is coming ahead. You know, like all of these, you want to be prepared for that. You want to be prepared to make the most of how that energy is going to flood twin flames over the next few weeks. Like we're, you know, you go into the lead up of the 1111 and then you go into the day itself where the portal is at its strongest and then the energy dissipates again. You want to be taking advantage of that in its best, the best way that you can. You want to clean your energy up and you want to be ready to receive so that you may light up more of the DNA codes and graduate into the next phase of your journey. Interesting energy, complex energy. What have we got for our Divine Love Oracle? Let's look for the feminine and see what we've got going on. Divine Feminine, what's playing out for you? Let's have a look. More than meets the eye. Divine Masculine, Sacred Geometry. And one for the connection. Truth Seeker. Right? Gee, you know, like it just, sometimes you can't even make it up, right? More than meets the eye. Look at this. Sacred Geometry comes out for Divine Masculine. Look what plays out here, the triangle. Now, why sacred geometry is important? It's because it's the foundations of which everything is built upon. What you say, what you do, how you act, what you hold as core beliefs, all of it, what you listen to, sounds, it's all building out in front of us what our reality will look like. And you cannot just look at reality and form your beliefs on what you see. You have to go deeper. You have to figure out what it is that you're holding as your truth. What's in your energy field that is preventing union from taking place? Now look at this. The Divine Masculine is facing, if you can see, I don't know, it's like hard to see, but there's actually a figure represented behind those shapes. And that's the masculine. He's facing the Divine Feminine. And if you can see, I don't know how easy. See what it says there? Love. I just feel love. So what that's going to do is it's going to start to produce via sacred geometry, because that's what's being felt. It's going to start creating the reality out in front of the Divine Feminine. Quite literally. See how these shapes are sitting out in front of her? Like if it's being sent towards her, that the bridge between the two of them is actually going to start to be built towards connection. And this is the first time I've really seen it this way since I've been here, is that but I'm not surprised, because these shifts are expected to occur at this time. The Divine Masculine is facing towards the Divine Feminine, and out in front of him you see it. Love, right? Love. And he's building the geometry. He's building the geometry which actually forms the reality out in front of him to be able to bring the Divine Feminine in. Now, she doesn't necessarily know it. Look where she's faced. She's focused on her journey. She's looking out towards her journey and not really paying attention to what's being built between the two. There's more than meets the eye that's playing out right now. I've actually got goosebumps at how this is ready to transform. It's ready to transform, Divine Feminine. Oh, this is, I'm actually getting stumped for words. Truth Seeker. Let's get into this. What is the truth? Now, to truly understand, and this is so very important, the ideals of a twin flame journey have got nothing to do with the romance of them. And I've said it a million times. Yes, you get to enjoy romantic activity together, for sure. For sure. It's an element of it. But if you can't get to the truth of what the twin flame journey is all about, and look at this, right? If this is you, right, here on the earth plane, and you're trying to figure it out, look at all these different versions of consciousness that are sitting out here for you to explore, to access the truth. You have access to the collective consciousness to truly understand the whole point of the twin flame journey. And it's more now than ever, twin flames need to understand why they're here and what the purpose of the journey is all about. If you are watching this channel and the only thing that you are concerned about right now is whether you and your twin flame are going to be back in each other's arms and having a romantic connection as you walk through the rest of your life. You've missed the point of the journey, and you'll probably miss the boat in this soulmate cycle. Not that the template doesn't come back around again for you to have another crack at it, but I'm getting really serious about these elements of twin flame connection because we're getting closer and closer to being able to hold them in that higher frequency, and to be able to anchor the new archetype so that these connections don't have to continue to understand the processes of separation and oneness. We need to understand that we are all one, all of us, and that your twin flame connection always sits safe and sound because it's never been separated in the truth of who you are. You are here in your avatar body, and you are experiencing separateness for the purpose of ascension. This is a truth. This is a truth because we don't just have twin flame doctrine to lean on. We have science backing up these truths. It's not just fantasy or fiction anymore. There are tangible facts that can hold on to these collective consciousness energies and give us the truths of who we are and why we're here. And honestly, if you're still watching this channel to this point and you are not embracing these truths for your twin flame connection, it's missing the boat of why we're here. If it's still just about the romance for you, it's missing the boat of why twin flames are here. And I'm getting up on my pedestal a little bit because this truth seeker card has come out. If you're not seeking the truth of your twin flame connection, you're missing the boat. Here, the geometry is being built between you. The divine masculine has turned to face the connection and is building the bridge between you. Don't be the reason that the bridge can't be walked across. That's a cautionary tale. Know the truth of the connection. Don't be the reason that the bridge can't be walked across. And this is advice I'm giving myself as well. You know, like I'm going through these energies as thick and fast as everybody else is. And you know, we're definitely experiencing the shifts, the change, the growth, and it's pushing me deeper and deeper into these truths than I've ever been. Like my meditations and my experiences of the afterlife versus this life and why it all exists. It's just, oh my God, it's like I've been standing in the middle of the footy field and somebody turned all the lights on and I'm getting the most crystal clear vision I've ever had about why these journeys exist. And I think on some level, Ricky and I got to a point where we were coasting and took it a little bit for granted, and we stopped pushing, we stopped learning, stopped growing, and the universe course corrected and pushed me the learnings that have been occurring while I've had to, you know, we're still connected, we're still together in as much as we still share this house together, we see each other every day, we're still kind and generous, but we're definitely not in that harmonious space that we were. And while that, you know, exacerbated feeling of separation has been put upon me, I have just had my head buried in learning and growing and figuring out what it is that has occurred. See, look, if I'm divine feminine, I'm looking away from the connection right now, even though there's a bridge of, you know, like I can see the bridge sort of starting to build and I'm starting to feel it, and that's great. But at the moment, my full attention is on the fact that I am sitting in a separation space, and that there's things that needed to be sorted out in our connection, and I would rather voluntarily let go of what keeps us from sitting in harmony than to have the apple cart upturned any further than it has. What's the antidote to that? Keep seeking the truth. Keep seeking the truth, because it is the bridge to connection more than anything else I've ever known in the way these connections work. The when I'm on task, the connection is harmonious. When I coast, we fall out of alignment. There's a lot to that. I mean, that's just my reflections on our journey, but the way this particular sequence falls, look what happens here. The divine feminine gets very, very focused on what has to be done. The divine masculine turns towards her with love. Like, what? I can't even make that stuff up. And the bridge starts to build towards the next level of harmony, and more of the truth of the soul ascension journeys and connections comes to the fore via the collective consciousness. If you have watched this to this point with all of that information, I go, hats off to you, twin flames. If you switched off, that those who switched off and went, oh, she's full of nonsense. When is she going to start saying that he's coming back and he's going to fix all this and he's going to be sorry? That's not what I'm going to say. I'm going to say you are in a window of massive transformation. And if you are still listening at this point to this information, the way it's being delivered, get ready for massive transformation. Keep your eye on the prize, keep your eye on the truth, and watch how this bridge starts to build out in front of you by default. Whew, I'm on my soapbox. I know, but I believe in it. I believe in it so passionately, and like I really want to help anyone who's, a twin flame on this journey. It's my mission to serve and to bring as many truths as I honestly believe to be true. I just don't want to send any message out into this collective that I have not, I'm going to say it, have not fermented, distilled, and crystallized. And my truth remains that these connections will not exist if you do not evolve. And on that note, I'm going to get off my soapbox and send out a whole bunch of love to the collective. And in faith, hope, and love, I'm going to say it's goodbye from me for now.